Hi, this is Terry Cron with Heavy Duty Powertrain. Do the tech support on L10, M11, and 14 engines. Today we're going to talk about engine wiring harnesses. Uh, for some reason, not quite sure, but a lot of people feel that the wiring harnesses on their trucks should last forever. uh, but in all intents and purposes, the wiring harness on a Cummins L10, M11, and 14 is very similar to the wiring harness on a 1955 Chevy with spark plug wires and a cap and rotor and what have you. You know, 5 years or more, you used to go out and get the whole kit, wires and everything, because, the wires would short out and what have you. No, the harnesses are made well, but I mean, you get out there, say 10 years on the elements, between the sensor harness and the injector harness, corrosion can set in uh, between the water and the salt getting to them. They rub through each other because of the vibration. And all of this can really raise a lot of problems, with your engine. Now let's take the injector harness. Okay, that's your high voltage. And what that means is we're talking about some extreme voltage going out to fire that solenoid on your injector. So many things can happen here with the harness. For one, if the solenoid shorts out and goes bad, a lot of times it'll burn up the harness going to it. And on that note, the injector harness, if one of the wires short out going to ground or short out between each other, it will burn up the harness, but more so, it'll burn up your ECM. I've seen holes actually burn right through the ECM. On the lower part of the ECM where the power board is, where all the injector boards are and drivers and what have you. And I've seen it get so hot it'd burn a hole about as big as my finger here and melt the aluminum out and completely destroy your ECM. So it's just a time bomb waiting to happen. So, definitely at a minimum, I would say you've got lucky and got out there and got 8-10 years on that injector harness to replace it, because that is one harness that will really cause damage and cost you a lot of money. Even with us, our ECMs are $14.95 exchange and the core charge is $400. Unfortunately, if that happens, that core is not rebuildable. And so now, because you didn't buy a $400 injector harness, that just cost you an ECM and downtime and, and you got to buy the harness anyways. So I know things are tough out there, but if it was my truck, I would, and it had 10 years on it especially, and I've gotten lucky to this point, I'd put a new sensor and injector harness and make that go away. Now the sensor harness, what happens with it when corrosion sets in, one of the main things that happen is it will lose communication erratically with the sensor or the entire grounding system of the sensor harness, which will cause a non-start situation in some cases. In a lot of cases, it'll erratically lose communication with the entire sensor harness going down the road, and it will try to derate to 1500 RPMs. And because it only does this for 2-3 seconds, it won't throw a fault code but your engine will constantly stumble, making you feel like injectors or an injector is missing or something else going on. So again, you know, the big problem is the average mechanic that doesn't deal with this all the time uh, won't know what to look for, and end up spending hours of this head scratching. And I've heard cases of replacing all the injectors and still got the miss, even replacing the ECM and still have the miss. And it really come down to, it wasn't even nothing to do with the injectors or the injector harness or the ECM. It was simply the sensor harness. So don't get caught. You know, if you're going to keep the truck, you know, I would definitely get a brand new harness. Typically, you're probably looking at $750, $800 at the most to replace the sensor and the injector harness. All of them vary a little bit, but the Select Plus from 96 on is, we sell it for $750. And it comes together with the sensor and the injector harness. So don't let that $750 cost you thousands of dollars. I guess if it was my truck, I would, when it got time for a maintenance, say 10 years, then just like the injectors or anything else, you know, get after it. Replace the harness, and replace your cam sensor, your turbo sensor, your fuel solenoid, and that's the high fail items. You know, so you got $1,000 in parts, but it isn't just throwing parts at it. And do it on your own turf if you can. It may take you a while, but all these things are replaceable by the average mechanic. Take your time, step by step, and get this stuff out of the way. And then if you need an ECM down the road, at least when you call us, you can say, well, I've replaced all this, done all my homework, and so be it. You need an ECM. And again, you're saving all the labor and the head scratching cost. I mean, the worst scenario with us, you decide it's got 10 years on the truck. So you buy and send your ECM in, we check it out, and you need an ECM. So you buy an ECM, buy the harnesses, buy the 3 components that are high fail items. Now you've done all that you can on your part to assure that you're going to have another good run down the road of, you know, 3-5 years of trouble-free. The only thing left is make sure that you run brand new wires supplying your ECM the power and the ground. And we'll talk about that in the next video. So if you got any other questions, call me at 727-787-6495. I'm taking calls from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week, Eastern Standard Time. And I plan on putting more videos that'll help you guys out. And appreciate all the business you can send our way. And our website is www.heavydutypowertrain, and that's spelled TRAIN.com. Thanks a lot and have a great day.